Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the channel. I am wanting to starting off today with some thanks to those of you in the community that have supported me thus far in my YouTube videos. This is my third video in 3 days. I still can't believe I'm sitting here doing this. As I mentioned in the first video, you know, there's no way in the world 6 months ago that I would even consider doing anything like this. But it's exciting. I'm happy to be here, and the reason why I'm doing this again is to make friends, right? Talk about baseball cards, share experiences with baseball cards and collecting and thoughts on the hobby, and just to show some things that I have, and hopefully it brings some enjoyment to some of you out there to see some of the things that I have, and if not, that's okay. But I'm having a great time so far. I doubt that I'm going to be able to keep up the one video a day. In fact, this coming week I'm going on a big vacation, so I'll be offline for a while. But that's okay. You'll see me frequently here and in the comment section. Speaking of comment section, again, I'm very much appreciative of all the comments that I've gotten so far, and my goal is to respond to every single one of them. Not just so far, but here on out. So if you leave a comment and I don't get to you or don't answer you, it's not because I'm ignoring you or didn't like your comment. It's just because that I haven't gotten to you yet, or perhaps your comment got lost in the shuffle of all the other comments that I've been receiving, or will receive. Hopefully that pace will keep up. So again, thanks to all of you guys. I want to offer a few comments myself on the state of the hobby. There's been a few videos out there talking about that, and how the state of the hobby is changing or has changed over the years, and what it is like for us today. Now, I've been, as I said, a baseball card collector since 1974. Now, that's not exactly true. Oh, there's my dog. That's not exactly accurate. So I started in 74-ish, we'll call it that. But I took about a 25-year break starting around the year 2000, having just gotten back into it in the last year or two. And I took that break for a number of reasons. One, had some family obligations. My kids were getting older and demanded some more time. So of course you've got to prioritize there. But the hobby was really going in a different direction than what I wanted. I've always been a set builder. It's just ingrained in me to collect like that, or at least it used to be. Not so much anymore. But the set was really moving away from that during that period of time. Going back a little farther, back in the 1990s, when Upper Deck came out, and their packs were twice as much as all the other packs, right? The Tops and the Score and the Fleer and those kinds. Who wanted to pay twice as much for a baseball card pack, right? I mean, great, it was a nice card and all, but depending on what your focus was in the hobby, and mine wasn't so much that. It was more about collecting and getting the players on the cards that the players that I liked. So, I didn't want to pay twice as much to do that. I could have bought a 50-cent pack of Tops and got my favorite players just as easy as I could pay 90 cents for an Upper Deck. So, but that's the way the hobby was going, and we all saw in the 90s that Upper Deck in '89 just transformed the hobby, and for the better. Photography got better, the card stock got better, the quality of the cards got better, and then we moved into the insert eras, right? And the parallel eras. I remember in 1992 chasing the 1992 Topps Gold. Right, that was really the first parallel set that was made available, and that was exciting. It was fun. But about 2000, it just got to be way too much for me. And much like it is today. I come back in the hobby, and frankly, the new product is confusing to me. You call me old, you call me what you want, but it's frankly confusing to me. So I don't even try. And I follow baseball, right? I still follow it. I got the Cardinals game on right now. And by the way, the Cardinals and Dodgers are tied 0-0 if you're keeping score at home. But you know, the card market today and the state of the hobby today isn't built for somebody like me. It's built for those folks who like the big hits and the inserts and those kind of cards. I watched a video from Lou Rock TV just yesterday, and he was recanting a story about a recent LCS visit. And a kid came in with his grandmother, and his grandmother bought him a box of baseball cards for his birthday. It was a pretty expensive box, and the kid just flipped through everything and just looking for the big hits, and he was pretty disappointed that he didn't get that big hit. And here he had a stack of cards that he should have been excited about, but it just didn't work out. And that's the way the state of the hobby is. You go to a card show now, and you see these 12-year-old kids. They're sitting behind a table with about 3 or 4 dozen cards, all graded, and trying to make a buck, or they're walking in front of the tables with these big, some of you guys know the right name for them, these big lock boxes of where all their slabs are, and they're trying to make trades and sell cards. And as a 12-year-old kid, I never thought of anything like that, but that's just the way the hobby is now. So it is what it is, and as long as people keep buying and people keep selling, and it's not going to change. It's akin to moving a glacier in the ocean. It's not going to change anytime soon, and it's not going to be an easy change for us. You can argue that this state of the hobby today did start way back in 1990 when Upper Deck became prominent in the market, and the hobby just changed dramatically from that point. So it's really started from that point on. And that's just where we are today. So, but fortunately, the cards that are available and the cards that I collect are still out there, and it's great that we have more avenues to go out and get those cards. There's more than just your LCS and your monthly shows, right? You got eBay, and you got other online auctions that you can go find those cards and collect like you used to, and collect like you want to. I've got binders and binders and boxes of cards that are of my collection, and I continue to add to those collections. And they're smaller collections. They're not the big sets anymore, but they're smaller collections like team sets from the Cardinals, or I collect highlight cards and league leader cards, and stuff like that. You saw some cards in my last video that I collect. It's those kind of things that you can still dig for. The thrill of the hunt for those kind of cards that you don't have to go out and spend $15 on a pack of cards and hope that you get it, or $250 on a box and hope that you get the big hit. It's just not it's just not necessary anymore. So fortunately, there's those avenues out there for us in the hobby right now that we can take advantage of, and not be discouraged about the other factors that are infiltrating the hobby and that are part of the hobby for somebody else. The tone of the videos and the comments that you hear right now, at least that I've heard, are mostly about the negative side of it, right? Oh, it's so different than what we're used to, but there's a large group of people undoubtedly out there that love it. So, and good for them. So, to borrow the tagline from Chris from Missouri, he's a smart guy. He's from Missouri, so he knows what he's talking about. But collect what you like, right? There's many opportunities out there for you to collect what you like. It might be a little bit difficult, especially if you're collecting those old cards, the vintage cards, and you just can't find those really cheap anymore. Certainly you can't hardly find them ungraded, which makes them a little more expensive, but they're out there. And again, you can spend the money that you want on them. You can buy the more expensive ones in the higher grade, or you can buy the cheaper ones in the lower grade, or raw if you find them. If you're lucky enough to find them. But at the end of the day, the hobby and the state of the hobby is really what you make it. So keep on collecting, and we'll survive. We'll be all right. So I wanted to end today's video with some pickups that I made last month in May. and I wanted to show you these cards for a couple of reasons. One, to kind of show you what I collect, more of an example of what I collect, and two, just to kind of get them out here and so I can put them away. So, but these are the cards I have in front of me today. The ones I picked up in May, either off of eBay, which is where I primarily buy online, or at the local card show that we had here a couple of weeks ago. We have a couple of really good shows here in the St. Louis area, and went to this show. I guess it's been about 3 weeks ago, so or now. It was a really odd show, to be honest with you. The first time I'd ever been to this show. Pulled into the parking lot and it was just jam-packed. People were parking on the street, double parking elsewhere in the spots. It was crazy. And I walked into the show with my wife, and it was wall-to-wall people. It was great. I thought this is going to be a fantastic show. There's going to be so much available here. The crowd usually drives the vendors. If the crowd's going to be big, you're going to have some great vendors that are selling cards. But as I started to walk through the show, I kid you not, if there were 100 tables at this show, 85 or 90 were Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh! Solely Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh! Cards. It was crazy. I don't have anything against Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh! Cards. In fact, I find the artwork on them fantastic. But it's just not my thing. But so I had a very, very small set of tables to find some cards, and I managed to find a few cards. So anyway, we'll hop into my my pickups for the month of May. Start off with this 1993 Wade Boggs. So one of the things that I again used to do is put sets together, and I had a whole bunch of commons of 1983 Fleer, the designs I put in a set together, and then I got away from that because it's just not feasible to put sets together anymore. It's not what I do anymore. But what I try to do is collect key cards from sets, and so I picked up this 1983 Wade Boggs, which I'm not a massive Wade Boggs fan. I respect the player; he's a great ball player, he's a Hall of Famer, right? But I just love this card. I love the headshot in this card. It's such a great photo, I think. So that's my 83 Fleer Wade Boggs. I am a big Pete Rose fan. I got a couple of Pete Rose cards here. 1979 Topps Burger King. First shot of him being on the Phillies. It's a cool card there. And it's another set of cards I like too. These Topps glossies, these send-ins that you had back in the 80s. This is an 87 Topps All-Star Collector's Edition. They also had a commemorative set, which is a different set than this one. But this is the Collector's Edition, 87. So just a cool card there, Pete Rose. Picked me up at off my auction, 1969 Lou Brock All-Star. These Sporting News cards are cool. Great shot of Lou Brock there. I love it. My man Lou Brock. Sticking with the Cardinal theme, I got a 39 to 46 Salutations exhibit. Marty Marion. A fantastic pose there. Great player for the Cardinals back in the 40s. Just love this thing. These things display great. I ran across these things. I didn't even know these existed a while ago, and ran across them. I was like, I gotta have those things. So my Marty Marion. So I made some. I'm a bowler, and into the bowling league. You know, during the bowling season, you put this money into this pot, and you get paid out at the end of the year based on how well your team does. And I made a few extra bucks this year when the bowling season ends. So I splurged. I got a big card today, or a big card this last month for my set. This is part of my highlights and league leaders and All-Star and World Series collection. Right, I collect those kinds of cards for each year, and in that group also I include combo cards. And as we talked about in my last video, I showed you some of those combo cards, but really the 50s and the 60s those years were really, really ripe for some fantastic combo cards within the sets that had, you know, massive stars and Hall of Famers, because Topps wanted to sell the cards, so they wanted to get these players together. And so this past month I made a big purchase of this right here. Look at that card. 1968 Topps Superstars, Killebrew, Mays, and Mantle. What a fantastic card. It's got this ugly number on it, as Mr. Mangini says. So, but it's a great, great card. You know, spend $100 on this card, and it's great. Corner's a little soft, but who cares? The centering's pretty nice on that thing, and it's just a great addition to my collection. Yeah, it's a little SGC2. Yeah, who cares, right? But visually appealing. There's been some talk about that. It's a visually appealing card, which is what I always go for right there. So that's my big purchase for the month. Is that 68 Topps. At my card show that I talked about, I got this 1964 Ken Boyer All-Star for the Cardinals back in the early 60s, a cornerstone of our 1964 World Series championship. There. And I got a couple of Bob Gibson cards too, right here. 2023 Topps Stadium Club. Look at that pose. That's Bob Gibson right there. What a shot. These later Stadium Club issues with that have Hall of Fame players on them are just fantastic. And then last but not least, another Bob Gibson, 2021 Topps Gallery Bob Gibson. I'll give you one guess why I got this card. That's right. Look at those mutton chops. What a great pose. Got the mutton chops going on. Who doesn't love that? Nice. All right. All right, that's all I have for today, guys. Thanks for watching. Keep the comments coming, and again, appreciate the welcome into the community, and we'll look forward to conversing with you guys more. Have a great weekend. Take care.